did you approach this, knowing you'd be shorthanded, and how did you feel you guys performed tonight?
I think as a team we approach this as any other game. There's principles to the game, playing hard for 40 minutes, doing all the little things, and we had guys down, so that was emphasized even more, and that's what we had to do.
Yeah, it's just something we do like every week. Like everybody's locked in, and with so many guys out, it's next man up. And I think we always do a good job of preparing everybody. And today that was just an example of it.
For Ben, how did tonight feel for you? I mean, you spent the better part of 2 years kind of in and out of a walking boot and trying to get yourself to this point. How did tonight feel, and what were the emotions like?
Yeah, it was great. Just being sidelined with a lot of injuries and then struggling to find my way back. Like it's not fun. It's not easy, but I feel like moments like this kind of make up for it. Like it was great to be out there to compete, and just doing what we do and being a part of that was great.
I guess, how did you find your way back to this point through all of that?
Like it was a lot of it just kind of finding my place, finding my role, and just locking in on that. But like aside of that, it was just like I said, finding my role and being part of this team. I had a great group of guys surrounding me, finding my way back, giving me confidence, and that's just what it was. Like I feel at home here. I feel like all my teammates are my brothers, and it makes it easy to play in a family.
Let's go.
I guess, Jake, what's it like for you to see Ben have a game like that, just to start the season off on such a high note?
No, I'm proud of him, hearing him talk here, because I know and I've seen him been there when he's been struggling with injuries and getting back and almost getting it and then getting hurt again. So I'm super proud of him. I'm not surprised. He practices extremely hard. He works really hard. We make fun of him for how hard he works, which is a good thing. And he just gets to it. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, Alec?
Yeah, Ben, I'll kind of follow up. I guess they make fun of you for how hard you work. What kind of preparation did you put into this game, knowing that Kofi wasn't going to be able to go with the suspension?
Like I said, it wasn't much different. It's something we do every week. Like every week, something I've been doing for the last 2 years is making sure that I'm ready when my name's called. And knowing Kofi was out, obviously expected to play a little more, but nothing really changed. Like I was as locked in and the scouting report as always was, and I think that's for everybody. Everybody had to step up, even the freshmen that played a lot today. Yeah.
Joey?
Jake, you said you guys kind of make fun of him at times for how hard he works. Is there a specific example that comes to mind when you say that?
No, I mean, he's just always in the gym after a hard practice, and he's there with his shirt off, putting up jumpers, just doing something. There's nothing wrong with that, though. That's a good thing.
Jake, seemed like to start the second half, I mean, you hit a couple early shots. Just what do you feel is necessary, maybe to come out at halftime and do just to maybe get things going on the right track?
Stay locked in. Do what you've been training for your whole life, pretty much. Trusting your teammates, listening to coach, doing all the little things, going hard, and just trying to win.
Ben, you've seen so many of your teammates kind of generate that roar from the crowd, but you've watched it from a different angle. For you to be the one generating that, what did you take a moment to kind of absorb everything tonight, or?
So you mean like feeling the energy from the crowd?
Being the one who provided it.
Like it was great. Like it's part of being on the court, I guess. Like it bruises. Like the energy is crazy, and yeah, it felt amazing. Like that's all I can say, really. Like I loved it out there.
Jake, did you feel like early on, with all the guys out, that you were going to have to manufacture some offense, or did you want to just kind of keep it, the game kind of come to you in that kind of regard? What was your mindset early on?
My mindset was the same. It always is. Obviously, I knew we had a lot of scores out, but my mentality wasn't even to come in and score at all. It was to know my assignment on defense first, knowing the scouting report. And I got in foul trouble early. I didn't let that affect me. I didn't even think about the fact that I had 2 fouls, and I was just hooping.
For both of you guys, Coleman continues to play with a lot of confidence. How have you seen that build up in him throughout this offseason and into this season?
Every day Coleman is the same guy. He's goofy, he's energetic, he makes some suspect plays, coach gets on him, but he doesn't let that faze him. He plays his game. Coleman does what he gonna do.
Yeah, I think it's part of his nature. Like, he's a fierce competitor, so he goes after it. High character guy, but I think all that combines for a great player. Puts in the work, and yeah, you see him play with a lot of confidence, and it's all work.
Brad?
Ben, you've had to battle through injuries, and now you're back out on the floor. Austin Hutcherson, on the other hand, wasn't able to get out there tonight. How do you help him through what he's going through as you've kind of seen the light at the end of the tunnel now?
Yeah, me and Hutch, we got a good relationship. Like, we spend a lot of time together and all that. And I hate for him to be out. He's been going through so much. He's a great player, super talented. And I can't wait for him to get back on the court. He knows, like, he's very level-headed, or knows where his mind's at. So he remains focused, and as soon as he's clear to go back in, like, he'll be ready. And I think that's the most important thing, to keep that confidence. Because at the end of the day, basketball is more mental than physical, I feel like. And with Hutch, you got someone whose mental is really where it's supposed to be at. Like, probably can't get any better. So, if I try to assist him, it's probably on that end. But I wouldn't say he needs much help there.
Scott?
Yes, for both of you, just with some playmakers on the bench and street clothes, what did you guys have to do to run effective offense tonight?
It's really not too complicated. You got people who weren't able to be out on the court tonight, and you can dwell on that and be sad and make an excuse like, we're missing guys, or you can just handle your business. I make it seem not complicated because it's really not complicated. If we were playing Duke, or we were playing some small team out in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, we would have played the same way, and that's that.
Joy?
Ben, I just want to go back to how you kind of handled those setbacks. Like, your family's on the other side of the world here. Like, how did you make it through? Like, you come back and then there's a hurdle again. Like, how did you get through that?
Yeah, it was not easy, but I had such great support from everybody. Like, everybody around me, whether it was like my teammates for sure, medical staff, coaches, everybody all around did an amazing job to help me, kind of, to pull me through it. Because there was days where it was pretty hard, or it was days where things didn't seem to go my way. So I was really lucky to be able to lean on them for support. My family also, even though they're far away, I talk to them every day, and they were very involved with the process as well, helping me, talking me through stuff. So I was very lucky with the people around me that helped me get through injuries, all that.
Alec?
Yeah, Ben, that's kind of a follow-up to that question. Is that what really kind of kept you on the process and keeping going through the injuries, was the people around you, or was there some internal motivation that kept you going to stay on this path?
Yeah, it was both, I guess. Obviously, like I said, great support from outside, but also just I love playing basketball, so it's easy to keep going even when things don't go your way. Like, I love basketball. And really it's what I like. It's my favorite thing to do. So, I felt like I had to find a way, and that's part of Illinois mentality. Like, find a way, and then just do what you got to do. So, yeah, that's that.
Well, I could not be prouder of a bunch of guys in the locker room than I am tonight. I mean that. I am ecstatic with that locker room tonight. Our effort, we set out to play really, really hard, guard, and rebound the basketball. And we felt like we had to do that against a team that we knew was one of the better defensive teams in the country. Their DER last year was off the chart. I think they were .85 points per possession. They're disruptive. And that's a really bad feeling when your top three primary ball handlers are not in the lineup. And then the best center in college basketball, the best player in college basketball is not in the lineup either. So we found a way. It was ugly. We fought. We competed. We got off to a great start. I'm so happy with DeMonte. His numbers don't reflect how well he played, how well he led. And then I thought Jacob Grandison was spectacular. And Jake took over in a stretch. And you see what he's added to his game with this off-the-bounce game. You know, my hat goes off to Ben. Ben goes against Kofi every day. And, you know, I thought his defensive prowess, I thought his tenacity, I thought his rebounding, 5 offensive, he's just kind of a bull in the china closet type mentality was impactful. And, you know, then we got good minutes from our freshmen. And it's always good for them to get their feet wet. But give Jackson State a lot of credit. They disrupted us. They made it very hard to run anything. But we managed, and I'll put my head on a pillow tonight knowing we played really hard. And I'm glad to escape with the win with everything that's gone on here in the last 7-8 days.
Jeremy?
Brad, do you have an update on Trent and
No.
Austin and Andre?
No.
Okay.
If they're here Friday, we'll play them. If they're cleared, if they're not, then we'll show up with the same group we got today. Is there any way I can get a water?
And
Go ahead, Jeremy.
obviously, it's a disrupted start to the exhibition, and now this game. How does that impact your team over the next week as you start to ramp up games here?
Yeah, I mean, I can only coach the group I've got. And I've always looked at that stuff that way. It's stuff I don't have any control over. You know, if they're back, they're back, and we'll integrate them in practice. They're obviously All-Americans. You know, you've got 2 Naismith, Wooden Award finalists. You've got the Defensive Player of the Year. And you got a guy who led us in scoring in our first exhibition game in Hutch that all aren't in. So if I have them, I have them. If I don't, I don't. And Jeremy, I can't look at it any other way than that. I'm going to coach the guys I had just like I did today.
Go ahead, Doug.
Coach, the box score shows 65 possessions for you guys. Did you play at the pace that you had envisioned playing at?
It's like having it's like having no quarterback. We just tried to scrap through it, to be very honest with you, and it wasn't very pretty. There's not going to be a lot we're going to gain out of that offensively. There's going to be some lessons to learn because I didn't think we were very physical. But no, you take the best point guard in the country out of what you do, and then you take your number one option, who's Kofi, out of what you do, and all of a sudden you've got, take your top wide receiver and your top quarterback out and try to figure out how to score. Things become problematic in a hurry, and that's why I am so proud. You guys have no idea how proud I am of that group in there tonight.
Ed?
Coach, can you tell us, for every good thing that Coleman Hawkins does, 2 or 3 or 4, then there's the behind-the-back pass. How hard is it to coach that? You looked frustrated at times, but then you looked happy.
I think it's just maturation. It's just my expectation for Coleman's probably a lot higher than his is. He has no idea how good he's going to be. No idea. And we just got to tighten. He's got to tighten things up. I got to get him to tighten things up. And it's sometimes just making the simplest play. And when he sets down guards, he's elite. Twice tonight he jumped up. That's one of the things I'm really disappointed in was our 3-point percentage we gave up. And he just didn't close out with a hand up. Those are things we practice every day and we rep every day, and it's just an attention to detail that we'll get him right.
Brad?
Coach ran a lot of spread offense in the first half. How long, usually when Bello's out there, you don't run a lot of, how many days have you been working on the spread?
4 days, 5 days. You got to run something when you don't have a point guard. I mean, you saw Coleman bringing the ball up. You saw Plumber with it. You saw, Jacob with it. I mean, DeMonte, you saw. I mean, it was literally you've got to try to run something to get you in offense when you know you can't ball screen. DeMonte picks up 2 fouls in the first half, and I mean, it was an automatic for us to go to spread when DeMonte was out tonight. Now, I did build a lot of confidence tonight in Plumber and his decision making as that went on. So, kudos to that young man because he played a lot of minutes and did a lot of really positive things.
Alec?
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned BBV in your intro and how proud of him you were. He's had a really difficult path, and that's not really a secret with in and out of a walking boot. How proud of you are him, or how
ecstatic. I mean, I think we've he's well documented his foot injuries and his all the challenges he's had staying healthy. But he spends as much time or more in the gym than anybody. He's completely bought into Fletch, and that part of it. You see how strong he is, and I'm really happy for him to be able to take that next step, and that was get significant minutes and impact winning. And he guards Kofi every day, and he's a guy I got a lot of confidence in at that end of the court.
Scott?
Jake had a pretty strong start to the second half. Did that just provide some stability coming out of the break?
Yeah, it was the whole idea. It's what we talked about at halftime, just kind of getting him going. He played a little choppy in the first half because of foul trouble. He got off to a good start. He was energetic. He was involved. And then we tried to run a little backdoor play, start second half, and they took it away. But then we came back and ran 3 or 4 actions right back at him to get him going, and we put him in a high shake because he's a really good 3-point shooter, and they tagged off of him, and he hit a couple threes. So it was game planned in the second half to try to definitely get him moving down the tracks in a little positive way for us.
Derek?
Coleman's playing with a lot of outward confidence. I know that you've tried to find that balance. You haven't had a problem with guys playing with swagger in the past. What's the right mix for him, or what does that bring, just kind of the way he's playing?
Yeah, I think the right mix is when the officials don't come up and tell me they're going to tee him up if he doesn't shut up. I think it's pretty simple. I think that we've always had swagger about us, but we've done it without arrogance and without really kind of a showmanship mentality. And he's we got to help him. We got to help him. And I love his arrogance, and I mean his confidence. I love how good he thinks he is. And we've just got to tighten that up, and we'll get that right.
Joey?
But I want to go back to Ben. I mean, just how did you help him in these last 2 years? I mean, it seemed like it was a step forward and then a step back. I mean, how do you coach a kid through those setbacks that just kind of seem to keep coming up?
Well, first of all, he's a really, really high character kid. He's a guy that's not going to, no coincidentally, is almost a 4-point student. He's a guy that you just get him to believe in the process. And whatever that process has taken him, it's taken him down some U-turns, some speed bumps, you name it. It has not been a smooth one, but just keep moving forward, and good things happen to those who work hard. And we preach that, and that young man has continued to work. He's a very driven young man, and at times we've had to back him off that, but his dedication to being a good player has never wavered.
Yeah, Coach, I also wanted to ask you about Alfonso Plumber. You hit on him a little bit. I had never seen in his film the ability to make some of the passes that he made tonight. I know he had one really good one on a backdoor cut. What have you seen out of his playmaking ability in practice that maybe you didn't see on Utah film?
Yeah, I mean, I think we get surprised. One, Plum works really hard, and he's a guy that spent a lot of this summer working on his ball handling, working on his decision making. Everybody fears him because of his shooting. That was no different tonight. I mean, they were face guarding him. You start adding that, gain a lot of confidence in me. We haven't had to have him do a ton of it because of Trent, because of Bello, but now I feel pretty good about it.
Brad, I know offensively you had to make chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what, but in transition, is Coleman taking the ball off the glass with the basketball something that could stay consistent throughout November, December, January, February, all that kind of stuff?
If Curbelo and Trent are in, no. If we don't ever have those guys again, probably. He's got the ability to do that, but finding that boundary of where's too deep, where's too much, and sometimes just making simple plays, and that's where we've got to deal with that, and get that right.
Coach, 16 minutes for Luke Goody, 18 minutes for Melendez. Was that out of necessity, or do you see them continuing to be able to help the team once you're back at full strength?
Both. Tyler's 8th year, we can't give him eligibility. He would have probably played, and Patrick Biddle won a championship with the managers. He can really shoot and really play, but we didn't have a lot of other guys. So we need those guys. Doug, we got to have those guys, and they've both been really good in practice, and I'm excited about the ceiling of those guys.
Coach, I have to ask, Curbelo hurt his head 2 minutes into the exhibition game, went out, came back in, and now is in concussion protocol. Are you at all concerned about the advice you're getting from medical staff of, players coming back in with possible issues? Io last year at Michigan State was an issue as well.
No, I mean, we've got great medical people. They only know what they have in front of them, and Bello said he was fine and got through the game fine, and was literally, symptoms happen at different points for different guys. I don't think there's a true status as to, hey, I got hit in the head. Sometimes it happens in a delayed fashion. Sometimes it happens right away. So, last year when Curbelo got hit, Kofi clocked him and, pretty much knocked him out. So, we had an idea then, but, everything's a little different. But I'm completely sold on everybody we've got and the representation with which, we get those matters handled.
You talked about rebounding a lot yesterday, and McKinnis got 12, but to win the battle by 20 and from everybody, is that how do you view that?
Next man up, and it was the only thing that I really challenged our guards because I wanted our guards to get back in and dig and rebound, and that was one of the great things that we had last year. We had guys digging in rebounds, and we lose a great rebounder in Curbelo. Curbelo led us in rebounding, I think, the last 7 games. In total rebounds. So, it was, I think we had 22 points and 21 rebounds from Kofi's spot. I'll take that. A pretty good night to replace college basketball's best player, and pretty productive. And we knew we had to win that battle. We knew we had to get on the offensive glass. We got over 50% of our misses back, and we knew in an ugly game we had to figure out how to score, and we found a way.
You've talked a lot recently about Coleman's ultimate upside. What do you think that is defensively, and was that closeout block in the corner a flash of what that includes?
Yeah, all that. He's smart. He's really intelligent. He's got a really, really high IQ. And it's just about the discipline to do it every single time. And he's getting there. Believe me, he's not far off. And he's when we put him out there with Bello and Trent and DeMonte and Jake and Kofi, and I mean, there's another elite defender. He's not the weak link, and that's the challenge, is to make him that kind of guy who can guard not just a 3 or a 4, but can guard a 2, can guard a 1, can get in a switch, guard a 5 if we have to play him there. You know, he's never going to be the most physical guy, you know, in terms of weight, but he's a guy with great length and great anticipation, and you know, you just saw him take a 2 or 3 step sprint and just go block a shot, and he's got great length, and all that leads to being a really good defender.
Brett, a little off topic, but I know you're not surprised by anything Ayo Dosunmu does, but what have you thought of what he's done over his last 5 or 6 games with the Bulls?
Yeah, I was at the game Saturday against the 76ers, and if you guys don't know, Joel Embiid's really good. Just in case you hadn't paid attention, but man, you know, nothing surprises me. I don't know what he's so confident without being arrogant, and he's such a likable. Maybe likable is not the right word. He's such a fierce competitor that you have to respect that, and you know, to go in and you know, do what he did last night, and you know, he's impacting winning. He just impacts winning, and maybe that's the it. You know, I always refer to the it factor. The it factor is winning, and Ayo Dosunmu has done a spectacular job, and he's impacted. You know, I don't know, what are they, 6-3, 7-3, something like that, and he's done a phenomenal job of helping that team win.
Brad, you said yesterday, you know, a lot of people say you guys have depth, but you wanted to see how that worked. Did you see enough today to really evaluate? Was that something you'll see maybe on the way to Kansas City, or? No,
we're gonna get tested. We're gonna get smacked in the mouth on Friday. Now we're gonna find out. And like I said, the challenge for me going home tonight is when I start watching films, I don't know who we have. You know, so that's a very unsettling feeling as a coach. You know, you want to start game planning and figuring this out. You have no idea. Other than we don't have Kofi, but I'm assuming going to bed tonight that we don't have him. So that's my assumption until I'm told otherwise, because they did not play today. But we'll deal with that, and then we'll figure out, you know, what that looks like and who's playing. And like I said, we put an offense in 5 days ago, you know, that we hadn't spent 1 second working on prior to this.